Okay, training 11. Very exciting. We're moving along. This one is about how to make hard decisions about your career. I think sometimes we are presented with a possible job we could apply for, a promotion we could go for, a raise we could get, or even if we're thinking about starting a business, and then we just get paralyzed by the amount of what the potential is for each possibility and making pro-con lists and looking at all sides of it. And then we talk to one friend who says, definitely go for it. And another friend says, um, this isn't a smart decision. And then we're listening to everybody and we're like, I don't know, what do I want to do? This is hard. So I was talking to a friend yesterday who maybe she'll watch this. So hello, I love you. I was talking to a friend yesterday and she's working on her business and she was saying, some people have said I should go to networking events and I don't know if I want to go to networking events. Like, does that really resonate with me? Does a networking event resonate with me? And I was thinking about how do I make those decisions in my business? And so I came up with this concept of a motion for summary decision. So this is what I'm calling this concept. It draws from my experience as a lawyer and how sometimes, this one process that we use in the law to make decisions in a case. And so it's sort of like how to, even when you have two conflicting legitimate ideas with a lot of evidence about what you could do moving forward, this sort of tracks with how to filter that out and not have to go back and forth and feel so stuck. So this is based in the idea of the motion for summary judgment in the law. So the motion for summary judgment is a process in a civil case. So I represent employees, right? If you don't know me, my name is Meredith Hawley. I am a lawyer and a power dynamics facilitator, and I help employees stop sexual harassment without quitting their jobs. Sometimes employees are in such a difficult situation that it rises to the level of a legal claim, and then our office helps them with a lawsuit. So if you're filing in court, this is just a little education piece for you. If you're filing in court, you file, the plaintiff, the employee files a complaint. And then at some point, the other side, well, both sides actually can file what's called a motion for summary judgment. And the motion for summary judgment says to the court, even if you believe everything that the other side is saying, even if you assume all of their facts are true, they still lose as a matter of law. So for example, anyone can file a lawsuit for anything. So I could file a lawsuit and say, this person, I don't like yellow shirts. This person wore a yellow shirt, so I'm going to sue them. It's probably going to get dismissed anyway, but pretend it doesn't get dismissed. And then somebody files a motion for summary judgment. And I'm like, he was wearing a yellow shirt that day. It was Tuesday. I remember it. I have a picture of it. And the other side says, even if you 100% proved that, even if you have pictures, even if you have everything, as a matter of law, you lose because it's not illegal to wear a yellow shirt. So this is kind of the concept of, this is kind of a silly example, but this is the concept of the motion for summary judgment in a legal case. So when we're making decisions in our careers, a lot of times what we're doing is we're saying, I could apply, but I'm not qualified, but I should apply, but I am qualified. I have some evidence I am qualified, but I have some evidence that I'm not qualified. And we have evidence on both sides. And so we get very confused and afraid and overwhelmed and stuck. I talked to a friend this one time who was encouraged to apply for a job, and she said, no, I think I'm not qualified enough. And then she realized that everyone who was gonna apply was gonna be less qualified than her, that she was actually the most qualified candidate. But in her mind, she had all this evidence, that she was not qualified, right? Which we all do, right? I just need one more certification. I just need to go to one more training. I just need to go back to school for one more thing, and then I can move forward, is what a lot of us think. Especially people who are socialized as women are sort of taught that it's not okay to go out there, be a leader, put ourselves out, take up space, make really strong statements, and go for what we want until we have all this safety around us, all of these qualifications around us. So when I was talking to my friend about whether she should go networking, go to a networking group, right? I was saying, the question I was asking her is, well, are you already taking action in your business? And she immediately said, no, I'm not taking action. And I said, well, okay, so what are the results that you're getting? And she knew all the numbers in her business. She could tell me the consult she had. She knew everything that she was doing to take action. And she gave me all this evidence that she was taking action. So I said, why are you choosing to believe that you're not taking action when you're telling me all this action that you are taking? And she said, well, I'm not taking impressive action. So this is like when we're thinking about applying for a job and we're like, well, I mean, I'm qualified, but I'm not really qualified. I'm not impressively qualified. I'm not overqualified, right? And so she said, well, I'm not taking impressive action. And I said, why are you choosing to think that? And she said, no, I feel okay about it. I feel okay that I'm not taking impressive action. And I was like, why are you feeling okay about this thought that's really mean to you? And so another example, I was talking to a client who has recently left a job, and so the reason that I bring this up of the taking action or not taking action with my friend is that she was trying to decide whether to go to this networking group from a place of believing that she was not taking action, from like a place that was kind of cruel and self-abusive to herself, like self-critical, right? She wasn't deciding whether to go to the networking group out of fun, out of excitement, out of loving her business. She was trying to make the decision from a place of self-criticism. And whenever we're doing that, we're usually not noticing it in ourselves. We're usually assuming that we're just making an observation, right? But we're not. Right? Anytime that we're criticizing ourselves, turning against ourselves, we're not making an observation. We're making a choice about how to think about ourselves. So I have this other client who's recently left a job, and she's really struggling and afraid about getting income. And so she was choosing the thought, I'm losing my career. And as we talked about it, she realized that she could even still have the same career that she had, but she's choosing to start a business right now. And so she also had this thought available to her, I can press forward and work for myself. And she also had the thought, I'm not losing my career. She had all of these ways to look at it available to her, right? And so when we are debating back and forth, I am taking action, I'm not taking action. I'm losing my career, I'm not losing my career. I'm qualified, I'm not qualified. We're making decisions from this place of internal struggle, not out of decisiveness and authority in our career. So we want to take the idea of the motion for summary judgment, and we want to apply it to how to know how to make a decision. So this is like a clear-cut way to make a decision. Even if all of the evidence is true, you can still make a decision on both sides, right? Instead of negotiating with the evidence that you have and trying to find the most evidence, which usually we find the most evidence for a thought that turns against us, for our self-criticism, not for moving forward, right? So what you want to do is you want to think about, create a specific vision of your future And there are a number of tools. I'm not going to go into of how to do that. I really struggled with that at first. So if you struggle with that, I'm with you. That one's hard. But so there are a number of tools for envisioning what is your goal, what's your 5-year goal, what is your big impossible vision of what your life could look like, the most positive, coolest vision of what your life could look like. And then think about somebody who's created something like that, right? Somebody who's created a life that's similar to what you're imagining, right? So Beyonce. I don't want to be a rock star, but Beyonce is always a good example for everything. And so even if no one that you can think of has created that, just imagine a person who has created that. And then that person, we're going to call your future self, right? The person who has created the result that you want. We're just labeling that your future self. And then they have the thoughts, they have the decision that you need to make now, right? They have the key to the decision that you need to make in this situation that you're in, whether to apply for the promotion, start the business, get the go for the raise. They have the key to that. So I'm going to break this down into steps of how you do this. So the first step is write everything down that you're thinking about the decision that you want to make. Like, no censoring, no pro con, throw away your pro con. I don't want to see it, but write all of your thoughts. The more ridiculous, the better. Now, then you go through all your thoughts about it, about both sides of the decision, and you say, even if I have evidence that this thought is true, would the person who created the life I want, the ideal life, choose this thought? So you say, is this a future self thought or is this a past thought, right? And then you know which thought to choose based on whether this person, this vision of the person who's created the goal you want, would choose the thought you're thinking now. So what we want to do usually is the opposite, and it just doesn't work. What we want to do is we want to make $1 million and then think like a millionaire, right? But what you have to do is you have to picture, how does a millionaire make their decisions now and make decisions from that place? And a lot of people say to me things like, well, but millionaires make decisions to buy $15,000 hamburgers and I can't make that now. And that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, where does that person put their time? Where does that person put their energy? What do they care about? And what do they say to themselves? Do they say, I'm not taking action? Do they say, I'm losing my career? Or do they really recognize that they are taking action? Do they give themselves that? Or is it even relevant? Are they even thinking about whether they're taking action or not, or whether they should go to a networking event, or whether they should apply for a job? So I'm going to go over the steps one more time. So the steps are: throw away your pro-con list, take out a blank piece of paper, and then write all of your thoughts about all of the options that you can take. Then you make a motion for summary decision, like we talked about the motion for summary judgment, and you say, even if I have evidence for these thoughts, are these the thoughts that the person who created my goal would choose? So one example that I always give about this is, this is actually I think I've even given this example in these trainings because this was such a profound experience for me. So I had this month where I was writing out all my thoughts and I was looking at them. And one recurring thought I had was about not getting enough support. Like somebody didn't text me back yesterday. They didn't text me back. And then if I looked at my goal of creating a 6-figure business that serves employees, that makes a difference and creates healthy workplace culture. So if I look at that goal, does the person who created that goal worry about the support that she's getting? Is she telling herself, I don't have enough support, or is she just supporting herself, right? If you are wanting to get a promotion, and then you're spending all of your time telling yourself that you're not qualified enough to get a promotion, you're less likely to get a promotion. But the same is true, like, if your goal is related to your career, if you want to get a raise, but you're spending your time like worrying about whether your boyfriend likes you or not, the worry about the boyfriend liking you is not relevant to creating the goal. So you want to even think about whether what you're thinking now is moving towards the goal that you want to create, whether it's relevant to that goal. Would your future self choose these thoughts? What would they keep choosing and what wouldn't they keep choosing? So that's what I got for you today. Any questions that you have about workplace cultural health, send them over to me to make sure I include them in these trainings, the answers to them. And if you know anybody who's unhappy at work, send them over to me. Send me a message and let me know, and let's connect. Thank you.